Are you ready for Doomsday? Most people aren't. This is the Urban Sentinel. Let's get into it. Prepping for Doomsday. Doomsday preppers. You say that and a whole entire image of things pops up into your mind. Guns, ammo, baked beans and bullets and everything stacked up to the rafters, all that sort of thing. Deep underground bunkers. Whatever the fantasy is, that's what comes up, and that's what people have in their minds when they think about prepping for Doomsday. But it's not quite like that. Realistically, prepping for Doomsday is not going to be something on the lines of an asteroid that could potentially wipe out a fifth, half, or almost all the life on the planet. There's no way to plan for that, because if it's that big, if it's that powerful, and even if it hits on the other side of the world from where you're at, everything is going to be affected globally. So scratch that off. It's not planning for some large cataclysmic continent shaking super volcano event, because once again, even if you're not within 500, 1500, 5,000 miles of it, it's going to affect the entire planet to such a greater extent that you can't plan for what eventually is going to come your way. There just won't be a way to mitigate that level of damage. It's not a case of not planning means it's not going to happen. It's simply a case of being realistic in your aspects and your thought process of what you are looking to do. So scaling it down, pulling it back in a little bit, thinking on terms of natural disasters, economic situations, small scale, but yet persistent and in their longevity of the event. So a thunderstorm by itself, nothing to be really alarmed about. Power might go out, down tree limbs, some flooding. If you're preparing, you've got those things covered. If you know that your basement floods, at the minimum, if you don't have a sump pump already, you've got buckets, you've got mops, you clean up after the fact. Down tree limbs, same thing. You've got a chainsaw, or at least a hand saw that you can cut up some limbs, maybe a axe and an hatchet as well. You make small, incremental, progressive changes to your lifestyle and to the way you operate to prepare for those types of events. Now, when you magnify that, when that thunderstorm, that small scale storm becomes a large category, Cat 5 hurricane, the damage that could be unleashed is on a larger scale. Now you may be looking at structural damage. You may be looking at power outages that last several days to weeks. Now you're looking at having a generator, having extra fuel, having a camper or an RV, or at the minimum, some good quality tents that you can utilize if your house is unsafe to stay in. You may have to relocate. So now you're looking at having a plan on getting from where you were to someplace else where you need to be, where it's a little bit safer. People that live in well-established disaster zones, people that live in the states that are part of the tornado alley, or people that live in the earthquake areas of California, or as it were, the wildfire regions throughout most of the West and going into the Midwest. Things like that, things that occur on a regular basis, are something that you should be planning for. The doomsday aspect comes into play when those events continue on, or they tag team with other events and it continues to get worse without a way to alleviate the situation. On the other aspect of it, an economic collapse, a Great Depression, or even a major reduction in employment, in business and things like that also has an effect. Suddenly now stores are closed, people aren't working, people are laid off, rent is still due, car payments are still due, utilities may be getting cut off. People have to learn how to adapt to that. Now, some cases, there is no getting around. If you don't have the money, you don't have the money. And if they're going to cut off your phone, cut off your electricity, if they're going to come up with a tow truck and repossess your car, if they're going to slap a eviction notice on the front door of your apartment, whatever that case may be, that's going to happen. Doesn't matter how much you don't want it to, it's going to happen. So again, preparing for an event like that as a small scale, and then build upon from there, because a doomsday situation is when you get several things thrown into the pot and stirred up all together, and that's what gets dumped out onto the table. That becomes the larger aspect of it. Now, yes, you could have something on the scale of a nuclear exchange that could be considered a doomsday situation. If you're within the blast range, you're effectively dead. You're out of the picture. But if you're a continent away or several thousand miles away, you may still be affected by either military action in the area, government lockdowns where you're at. You could be affected environmentally by any radioactive debris blowing your way. So that one single event, even though it was one event, could still have a larger rippling effect on you, that a doomsday scenario could be classified from that. And again, having all the basics of prepping as far as food, water, medical, that sort of thing is definitely a necessity. But having a plan and understanding that, one, your plan will probably go south and sideways very quickly because you can't foresee everything. You can plan as much as you want, and it's still better to have a plan, a backup plan, and 2 or 3 other backups to the backups than just simply sit there, twiddle your thumbs and cross your fingers and hope that, you know, the bad luck will pass you by. Doomsday prepping as a moniker is just simply a label that gets realistically thrown up by people who don't understand it or don't have the intention to take an active effort in their own personal survival. They are the nihilists that, oh, what's the point? It's all going to be over. They're the ones that say, well, if this happens over here, I wouldn't want to survive because it'll be too difficult. If this happens in this situation, I wouldn't want to be around. Why bother? Or why even bother doing this when this could happen on top of that and, you know, everything goes down. That's their perspective, that's their point of view, that's their mindset, just passing by on the roadway, because that's the only thing you need to do is just you keep going the way you're going. If you're looking at surviving small-scale disasters, small, limited events, doing that very thing, planning for those small things that only last a brief moment in time, and then expounding upon that and building up on that, making your plans, your organizational charts, your equipment, everything that you need, and pushing that out. Well, what if this goes 3 more days or a week or 3 months? What do I need to do in between to make sure that I and my family or whoever else I'm involved with can make it through? People that live in flooding areas that are prone to flooding from rainstorms and things like that, same thing. They have to get used to roads being cut off for several hours or days, not having access to certain things. The power might be out, so they have to plan accordingly. And if all of these things in that chain of events continues to go on day after day after day, those people that haven't planned and haven't prepared, for them, that doomsday is far more intense because they are left without. They are stuck with the realization that they didn't plan, they didn't prepare, they also didn't die. So now they're sitting in the dark, the cold, the wet, the damp, the, you know, the humidity, whatever the environment is, they're sitting under the threat of radioactive fallout or some large-scale pestilence. Whatever it is, they're living in that doomsday scenario that they mocked, that they, you know, turned their nose up at for the concept of trying to survive it. Now, granted, with some scenarios, you can plan, and I've said this before in other videos, you can look at what is most realistically going to happen in your area, within your region that you live in, county, state, section of the country, continent, what have you. And you can look at past events that have happened. You can look at past storms. You can look at past times where there have been earthquakes. And you don't have to go back, you know, to records from 200 years ago. In many cases, you can just look at what occurred 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and see how things progress. See what changes were made, not just by government facilities and organizations, but by individuals, for people themselves. You can look at events that have never occurred to you, but are presently occurring to other people. If you want to have an idea of what it would be like to have to relocate from your hometown in your country to some other country during an invasion, you take a look at what's currently going on over in Eastern Europe. That will give you an idea. If you want to have an idea of what it would be like to live in your country, to have the government pretty much screw the pooch on the economy, where your hyperinflation is through the roof and you cannot get food and you're waiting in line, you take a look at some of the countries in Central and South America, Venezuela, you look at what's going on in Brazil right now, you start to see these things. If you want to know what it's like to live in a country that is systematically trying to remove the rights of its citizens and oppress them, you take a look at what's going on in the Middle East, over in Iran, over in Afghanistan, and you'll have a good idea about what is happening. It gives you an idea to help you sort of plan things out, because in that aspect, the doomsday is when it is that convergence of all these things, one after the other, piling on top with no seeming end to it. It doesn't necessarily have to be one single event, and in realistic cases, it's never going to be one single event. It's going to be multiple events in close proximity to each other that as they go, they start to spread out, they overlap one onto the other, pushing the effects that they have farther out and around, spreading into different areas. So in preparing for doomsday, it is a realistic thing. Yes, there are some doomsday scenarios which your luck will run out very quickly on such a large scale, alien invasion or, earth-shattering asteroid, things of that sort. But by and large, most of the doomsday scenarios that people prep for are just simply magnified versions of small-scale events that happen on a regular basis all around the world all the time. It's just simply the concentration of those events when they occur and the ability of you, the individual, and anyone around you in handling that, in both mentally accepting and then moving through the situation, but also still being physically prepared for that event to occur. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Catch you in the next one.